we need to find some hardworking FFA members to help us with our service project. Come on with us.
I am capable, we are unstoppable. It starts with you, it starts with me. Shape the future, aspire greater. It starts with us, it starts with we. Together we stand, united together. We better this land.
Hey, y'all, come on in.
Better this land. Rise up to the challenges, strive for greatness. I can, but together we will. I can, but together we will. I can, we will. Be the change we want to see. I can, we will. Step up and leave a legacy. I can, we will. Be the change we want to see. Be the change we want to see. Step up and leave a legacy. Embrace our difference, unite in similarities. See your potential, discover your ability. Where we live and where we lead, where we serve every single day. Our jackets, our standards, our talents lead the way. I can, we will make the promise of better days. Make the promise of better days. I can, we will. Be the change we want to see. I can, we will. Step up and leave a legacy. I can, we will. Be the change we want to see. Be the change we want to see. Step up and leave a legacy. We're all different, we're all unique. But when we come together, we can't be beat. Create a bigger impact. In fact, if I believe we can, we will be the change we want to see. I am powerful, you are powerful. Add it up and we're unstoppable. Together we're stronger than as individuals. Achieve a common goal. Unbelievable. I can, we will. Be the change we want to see. I can, we will. Step up and leave a legacy. I can, we will. Be the change we want to see. Be the change we want to see. Step up and leave a legacy. I can, we will. Be the change we want to see. I can, we will. Step up and leave a legacy. I can, we will. Be the change we want to see. Be the change we want to see. Step up and leave a legacy.
Members and guests, please rise for the national anthem presented this afternoon by Carol Blogg of the Udall FFA chapter.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night
my name is Maria Martinez. I am from Queens, New York, originally from the John Bowen FFA chapter, and I served as a state officer for the 2014-2015 year. I'm currently a sophomore pursuing my bachelor's degree in animal science and industry. So my SAE was in placement, and I was able to work with exotic birds all throughout high school. Because of that, and because of my involvement in FFA, it's really led me to K-State. Being from New York City, I didn't know much about agriculture. If it wasn't for FFA, I wouldn't be here today pursuing a bachelor's degree in animal science. So my SAE really has led me to K-State from New York because I realized how passionate I was about agriculture and the agriculture industry as a whole. So I chose K-State because of the people. When we talk about the K-State family, we truly do mean it, and I truly do feel at home.
Let's go. Make no excuses now. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. Let's go. Your time is running out. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. It's not about what you've done, it's about what you do. It's all about where you going, no matter where you've been. Let's go.
It is a tradition of the Kansas FFA Association to invite the winning chapter of the Ritual Demonstration LDE to present opening ceremonies at Kansas FFA Convention. Let's welcome the 2018 winning team, the Sabetha FFA chapter.
The convention hall will come to order. We are now holding the third session of the Kansas FFA Convention. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Madam President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there?
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times, and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The Reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from Maine to Hawaii.
The Treasurer.
Stationed at the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there?
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The Secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there?
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The Advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I am asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is the symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Madam President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
I am pleased to announce that at the third session of the 90th Kansas FFA Convention, there are 1,710 members, advisors, and guests registered, Madam President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here? To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess. May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this third session of the 90th Kansas FFA Convention duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented.
Our chair for session 3 is our team's mother. Any time on the road, if we needed something, she had it in her backpack. Whether it was hand sanitizer or something to snack on, to anything in between, she was always willing to share. Her willingness to share is a showcase of her caring spirit. I have never met someone prouder to come from Northwest Kansas, and her network in and love for Kansas span much wider than her. Please help me welcome your Kansas FFA Sentinel and chair for this third session, Skylar Denayo.
Thank you, Eli, and welcome to the third session of the 90th Kansas FFA Convention. Turn and look at who brought you to McCain Auditorium today. For many of us, that person is likely a teacher. Perhaps that's someone who holds a formal teaching title, someone we have taken or will take agriculture classes from. Maybe it's someone who's taught countless life lessons. Either way, we have them to thank for helping guide us in life. Take, for example, scientist George Washington Carver. Born a slave, he then spent many of his formative years in Kansas. Often he could be found in nature, observing and sketching what he saw there. It was his interest in this flora that earned him the nickname of Plant Doctor. Eventually, he enrolled in college in Iowa studying art. Before making it far there, a teacher encouraged him to transfer to land-grant institution Iowa State University to study agriculture, where he could utilize the potential that teacher saw in him. After 6 years there, he graduated with a master's degree, a deep interest in botany, and a skill discovered in teaching. Then he decided to accept a position as the head of the ag department at Tuskegee. There, he taught and advised students for about 20 years and made most of the scientific discoveries we know him for. Even after finishing his formal teaching there, he never passed up an opportunity to advise any student or producer that came his way. Carver shows us that everyone, everywhere, has the opportunity to learn something new when they wake up each morning. Tell me, Kansas FFA, did you wake up ready to explore the endless possibilities before you? Well, that's what we're about to do. To kick off this session, we'll get to know the second half of our Proficiency Award winners. Next, our Kansas FFA reporter, Riley Slichter, will share words of wisdom with us in his retiring address. After Riley's inspiring words, we'll recognize our State Foundation sponsors, the best scrapbooks across the state, and programs receiving grants through the chapter initiative. Next up to the blackboard will be the members excelling in the Employment Skills Leadership Development event and National Chapter Award recipients in the area of growing leaders and our CTE scholars. Guest speaker Dr. Randy Watson will then provide remarks. To wrap up our time together in the third session, we'll see which members earned gold stars in the form of scholarships, and we will celebrate as we name 10 finalists in our John Deere Gator giveaway. Let's crack open the books on this session. My high school math teacher always did his best to make his classroom engaging, including quirky jokes, in-class activities, and Chuck Norris posters dispersed throughout his classroom. These posters read things like, when Chuck Norris enters a rodeo, the bull has to try to last 8 seconds. And if it tastes like chicken, looks like chicken, and feels like chicken, but Chuck Norris says it's beef, then it's beef. While Chuck Norris may be a legend, he would never be able to best these next individuals. These members have worked diligently to excel and grow through their supervised agricultural experiences. Please turn your attention to the screen as we celebrate the second half of our Proficiency Award winners.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Communications Proficiency Award is Blake Chance from the Royal Valley FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Farmer Magazine. Blake's SAE involves managing social media accounts, primarily one dedicated to content related to International Harvester. Blake worked to make connections across social media to grow his following and now collects photos from around the world to showcase to his over 20,000 followers. After graduation, Blake hopes to attend Kansas State University to study agribusiness and agricultural communications. Blake is the son of DJ and Christy Chance, and his advisor is Kim Clark. Congratulations, Blake.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Education Proficiency Award is Alexa McCurdy from the West Franklin FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by the Larry Gosen family and the Harmon Bliss family. For her SAE, Alexa dedicates her time to teaching youth about agriculture. Through events with her FFA chapter and 4-H club, Alexa has helped provide hands-on learning and has gained valuable experience in organizing and facilitating lessons and events. After graduation, Alexa plans to attend the University of Kansas to receive a degree in biology, then continue on to medical school. Alexa is the daughter of Ryan and Audra McCurdy. Her advisor is Tim Kilgore. Way to go, Alexa!
This year's winner of the Agricultural Mechanics Design and Fabrication Proficiency Award is Braden Carlgren from the Pike Valley FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Abilene Machine. Braden's SAE consists of designing and fabricating various projects, many of which he uses on the family farm, including projects like portable mineral feeders, trailers, and irrigation sheds. He has learned to be resourceful and efficient when creating his projects and has helped his family's operation in the process. After high school, Braden will attend Kansas State Polytechnic to major in mechanical engineering technology. Braden is the son of Ryan and Lori Carlgren. His advisor is Katie Carlgren. Well done, Braden.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Mechanics Repair and Maintenance Placement Proficiency Award is Jacob Hinman from the Paola FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by CanEquip. What started off as a love of working on vehicles and farm equipment evolved into Jacob's SAE, working for his father at Hinman Farms. Jacob continuously develops his welding skills and as a result took on more and more work. His SAE not only helped him with his organization and project management skills, but has helped him find a lifelong pursuit. After high school, Jacob plans to attend the Missouri Welding Institute. Jacob is the son of John and Rebecca Hinman. His advisors are John Menifee and Randy Ernest. Let's give Jacob a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Processing Proficiency Award is Riley Sorrell from the Labette County FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by City Barbecue. Riley works at Bartlett Co-op, performing and assisting with many of the business's daily duties. From helping sew and stack bags of feed to filling up trucks using the feed bins, he has learned the importance of teamwork, efficiency, and attention to detail. Riley hopes to continue gaining knowledge and experience so he can improve in his work and personal life. Riley is the son of Perry and Jessica Sorrell. His advisors are Dustin Wiley, Kyle Zwallen, and Jeff Falkenstein. Congratulations, Riley.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Sales Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Bailey Hiddle from the Mission Valley FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Central Valley Ag. Bailey operates Diamond H Beads, making custom beaded horse tack. Starting with the purchase of a beading loom and a few beads, she has expanded her operation to include multiple product designs and 2 social media accounts for her business. Bailey currently attends Kansas State University, pursuing a degree in agricultural communications. Bailey is the daughter of Brent and Marlene Hiddle. Her advisors are John Bergen and Kelly Holting. Great job, Bailey.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Sales Placement Proficiency Award is Ryan Stewart from the Washington County FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission. Ryan works for his parent seed company, is a sales rep and auctioneer for Open Range Sales Company, and serves as a manager for Sunflower Sales LLC. He uses his knowledge of marketing, crops, and new ag technology to offer a variety of services and find new business opportunities. In addition, Ryan also works on his family farm, assisting with the diversified ag business. Ryan is the son of Rodney and Kennette Stewart. His advisor is John Kern. Way to go, Ryan!
This year's winner of the Agricultural Services Proficiency Award is Maddie Toman from the Paola FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Farm Credit Associations of Kansas. Maddie operates an Instagram account promoting the equine industry. Starting as a way to share photos of her horses, Maddie has grown her business to include promotions of different equine products and brands and gained experience with marketing and time management. After graduation, Maddie plans to attend Kansas State University to major in elementary education. Maddie is the daughter of Christian and Keely Toman. Her advisors are John Menifee and Randy Ernest. Let's give Maddie a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Agri-Science Research Animal Systems Proficiency Award is Delaney Rapp from the Rural Vista FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Friends of the Kansas FFA. Delaney's SAE consists of raising broiler chickens and testing feed-to-gain ratios using various feed supplements. She has also developed a marketing plan for the birds, with proceeds helping purchase FFA jackets for members of her chapter. Delaney hopes to take the knowledge and skills she has gained through her research and apply them to other projects during her time in the FFA. Delaney is the daughter of Darren and Courtney Rapp. Her advisor is Crystal Carson. Great job, Delaney.
This year's winner of the Agri-Science Research Plant Systems Proficiency Award is Alexandria Nickel from the Gossel FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by DuPont Pioneer. For her SAE, Alexandria studied the results of a root treatment on 95 acres of Everest winter wheat. Partnering with MKC to conduct the trials, Alexandria tested for root mass gain and yield gain compared to untreated wheat. She will use the success of her experiment to conduct further research, and after graduating high school, hopes to study pre-med or biology. Alexandria is the daughter of Darcy and Keela Nickel. Her advisor is Alicia Ord. Congratulations, Alexandria.
This year's winner of the Beef Production Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Kaylee Gum from the Riverton FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Triangle H. From a young age, Kaylee fell in love with cattle showmanship. Now as an FFA member, Kaylee helps raise cattle on her family farm, which consists of market steers and show heifers. She performs many of the daily duties and has taken classes to learn more about AI and pregnancy checking. After graduation, Kaylee will be attending Connors State College to compete on the showmanship team. Kaylee is the daughter of Trevor and Pam Gum. Her advisor is Jacob Larison. Let's give Kaylee a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Beef Production Placement Proficiency Award is Jordan Beely from the South Central FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Tiffany Cattle Company. Jordan works at Parker Beely LLC, her family's ranch. Her daily tasks include feeding, watering, and maintenance of equipment and fencing. The experience gained in her SAE allowed Jordan to better advocate for the beef industry and have inspired her to help students look for similar opportunities. After graduation, Jordan plans to attend Kansas State University and major in agricultural education. Jordan is the daughter of Roy and Sarah Beely. Her advisor is Lacey Jacobs. Congratulations, Jordan.
This year's winner of the Dairy Production Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Anna Pakta from the Republic County FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Dairy. Anna began her SAE by purchasing 2 bred Holstein heifers. Her operation has expanded to include 3 cows, 10 calves, and 5 nurse cows that she manages for her family. Over the course of her SAE, Anna has learned a lot about dairy production, livestock health, and effective time management, and one day hopes to become a livestock nutritionist. Anna is the daughter of Gary and Jenny Pakta. Her advisors are Jed Sternad and David Graham. Way to go, Anna.
This year's winner of the Dairy Production Placement Proficiency Award is John Ocken from the Ulysses FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Dairy. John works for Lakin Dairy, where he is the manager of the heifer yard. There, he helps raise 12,000 young stock for dairy farms across the Midwest. Working with both cattle and customers, John has gained experience in nutrition, business management, and customer service. After high school, he's considering a career in dairy cattle nutrition. John is the son of Craig and Cindy Ocken. His advisor is Kelsey Peterson. Congratulations, John.
This year's winner of the Diversified Agriculture Production Proficiency Award is Garrett Girk from the South Central FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Volgamore Family Farms. Garrett works at Wilbanks Ranch, which consists of over 15,000 acres of grains and forages and more than 2,000 head of cattle. He assists with nearly every part of the operation, from planting and swathing the crops to feeding and vaccinating the cattle. During his time on the ranch, Garrett has improved his skills with machines and grown his passion for the beef industry. In the future, he would like to own and manage his own veterinary clinic. Garrett is the son of Logan and Lisa Girk. His advisor is Lacey Jacobs. Great job, Garrett.
This year's winner of the Diversified Crop Production Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Robert Phillips from the Mission Valley FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by the Kansas Crop Improvement Association. In a partnership with Tat Farms, Robert farms 200 acres, rotating between corn and soybeans. He is responsible for the planting and equipment decisions on his land and operates the farm equipment for both his and his parents' farms. Robert plans to attend Flint Hills Technical College to receive his welding certificate. Robert is the son of Tom and Amy Phillips. His advisors are John Bergen and Kelly Holting. Great job, Robert.
This year's winner of the Diversified Crop Production Placement Award is Joseph Reichert from the Paola FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Corn Commission. For his SAE, Joseph works on his family farm, helping grow corn, soybeans, and wheat. Over time, he started taking on more responsibilities, including running machinery, assisting with planting, and spreading fertilizer and chemicals. He has also learned business and personal relation skills and has set his sights on making his SAE a long-term operation. Joseph plans to attend Fort Scott Community College to earn a degree in farm and ranch management. Joseph is the son of Jared and Lisa Reichert. His advisors are John Menifee and Randy Ernest. Let's give Joseph a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Diversified Horticulture Proficiency Award is Carly Stapleford from the Marion FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Hummert International. Carly works at Aunt Bee's, a local flower shop. She cares for the greenhouse plants, designs floral arrangements for the shop, and assists customers with their needs. Carly's SAE has taught her to manage her time, assume more responsibility in her work, and develop her communication skills. In the future, she hopes to pursue a career as an agriculture business consultant. Carly is the daughter of Alan Stapleford and Marie Clark. Her advisor is Mark Meyer. Way to go, Carly.
This year's winner of the Diversified Livestock Production Proficiency Award is Chad Hibden from the Central Heights FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by JC Livestock, Clay Center Livestock, and the Langvart family. Chad raises a commercial cow herd and ewe flock. He also works for Valley Brook Farms and Bartlett Farms. While working on both commercial farms, Chad has been able to grow his own livestock operation. This has led to him keeping better records and learning more about livestock management and successful business operation. After high school, Chad plans to obtain a degree in agribusiness and pursue a career in the animal agriculture industry. Chad is the son of Darren and Julie Hibden. His advisors are Aaron Cubitt and Nathaniel McGee. Great job, Chad.
This year's winner of the Environmental Science and Natural Resource Management Proficiency Award is Mateo Lisk from the Mission Valley FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Midwest Ford Dealers. Mateo works at Crooked Post Ranch, an operation dedicated to improving the land quality in the area. Working under the head ranch hand, he assists with mixing pesticide formulas, maintaining ranch equipment, and spraying noxious weeds. Mateo's work on the ranch has taught him the value of patience, attention to detail, and a strong work ethic. After high school, Mateo plans to attend Kansas State University to obtain a degree in mechanical engineering. Mateo is the son of Timothy and Jennifer Lisk. His advisors are John Bergen and Kelly Holting. Congratulations, Mateo.
We would like to extend a special thanks to everyone who sponsored these proficiencies for their generosity and to all members of the selection committee who dedicated their valuable time to reviewing applications. Great job to all of our proficiency winners. The hard work you have put in is apparent and impressive. We hope you continue to use the skills you learned during your SAE as you move forward and grow further. We wish you the best of luck representing Kansas at the national level. Join me in giving them a final round of applause. Please join me in welcoming Jackie Slichter to the stage for a special introduction.
And your new Kansas State FFA reporter, Riley Slichter. Insert two girls, high-pitched screaming here. A year ago, I was sitting where you are, hoping and praying that those words would come out of Elizabeth Meyer's mouth. And they did. Hi, I'm Jackie Slichter, a.k.a. Riley's favorite sibling. Well, living with Riley for 14 years has taught me many things, including when you disturb a wasp nest, run. While using a sledgehammer to put a post in the ground, use caution so you don't hit your hand. If you trip and fall and land on insulation, he'll just stand by and laugh. He won't help you. A broken foot on the second day of summer is not fun, by the way. And always make sure to sit upright on a swing so you don't fall off the back and land on your head. Well, many of the things Riley has taught me through his actions, he's also taught me through his words. Whether that be giving me words of advice and showmanship or telling me not to do all the stupid things he's done, Riley's sure been a great brother. And I'm super excited to be wearing the blue and gold jacket next year because he's shown me anything is possible if you set your mind to it. I hope you've enjoyed Riley as your state FFA reporter because I know I've certainly loved watching him be your state officer. And it is with great pride I introduce to you today, Riley Slichter.
Hope when you take that jump, you don't feel the fall. Hope when the water rises, you built a wall. screaming your name.
Picture this, an 18-year-old boy from landlocked Kansas sitting on the edge of a small boat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, getting ready to drop into shark-infested waters. I had survived a 20-minute boat ride into what seemed to be the middle of the ocean, with huge waves taller than skyscrapers throwing our boat back and forth. And if this wasn't enough to strike fear into my heart, the only thing I had to do was come face to face with our shark swimming experience. As I found myself crawling closer and closer to the edge of the boat, I kept seeing more and more shark dorsal fins popping up out of the water around me. And the only thing that was going through my mind was, please, do not let these 7-foot-long sharks eat me for lunch. As I slowly lowered myself into the water, my body started going into panic, and I was clinging onto the edge of the boat for dear life. I no longer wanted to be there in the middle of the ocean with my family, but instead standing back on land, clinging my arms around a tree. My cousin had gotten me into this mess because I had promised that I would go swimming with the sharks with her. And now I only had to survive 15 more minutes until I could climb back up onto that boat without having to swallow my pride. In that moment, every second felt like an eternity, and all I wanted to do was get back to land. My fear was forcing me to take in every single second. As time seemed to tick by so slowly, I had no choice but to begin living in the moment. What if we all made the commitment to live each and every day in the moment? If we reflect on our lives, we all have those moments that we want to remember forever and those moments that we wish we could forget. Like many of us, I have no problem remembering all the mistakes I've made, as they seem to permanently etch themselves into my memory. But the problem is, once these negative thoughts enter my mind, I get caught up on them and have a hard time pushing past. If we look back to my middle school baseball career, I could be found at the shortstop position. Not only was it my job to field all grounders and get them to first base as quickly as I could to try and get the batter out, but I was also responsible for controlling all action going on in the outfield, stopping anything hit up the middle, and covering second base almost every play. I'd always start off the game optimistic and ready to go. Things would be going great until I would make a mistake. Almost every game, a batter would step into the box, hit a grounder right at me, and I would miss it. How could I do something so stupid, I would think to myself, as I began to shake my head and kick the dirt around me. This became a recurring error that would happen multiple times every game. I was upset with myself because I wasn't perfect, nor was I playing the perfect game. And the more mad I got at myself for missing the simple grounders, the worse I played. Coach Tim always told me just to accept my mistakes and move on, but I never did. And it just kept dragging me down. Looking back, middle school baseball taught me an important life lesson: to accept my mistakes, learn from them, and move on. Oftentimes in life, we stumble across moments like these where we just need to accept our mistakes in order to move on and be ready to make the next play. You see, the thing that we need to realize is that it is okay to make mistakes, because we all do. If we continue making these mistakes without stopping to reflect and learn from them, though, then those mistakes will continue serving as barriers that we cannot seem to surpass. In middle school ball, if I simply would have accepted the fact that every baseball player misses ground balls and embraced my imperfections, I would have been able to move on, and I've been ready for the next batter. Or if in life we find that we accidentally leave a gate open and all the cows get out, it won't take us long to realize the huge mistake we've made And I can speak from experience that we will always remember to shut the gate after that mess up. Or if on a more serious note, we find that we hurt one of our friends through our words, we will realize the impact that our words and actions have on those around us. Once we make a mistake, it is imperative to remember the lessons that we learned from them. That way we do not make those mistakes again. So how will you go about remembering your self-taught life lessons and being intentional about learning from your mistakes? For me, I keep a pocket-sized moleskin with me entitled Things to Remember, in which I record the things that I learned from the mistakes I made. Like the time I may or may not have ripped the back gate off the trailer because I didn't take the time to go make sure the trailer gate was closed before we left. Now I'm always double and triple checking to make sure that that trailer gate is closed before we go anywhere. But maybe for you, remembering your mistakes can be done in a different way. Maybe it's listening to music, taking pictures, creating art, or even journaling your thoughts. As we learn from our mistakes, we free ourselves to accept the experiences that have made us who we are, rather than let those times hold us back and prevent us from living in the moment. I am a natural competitor, especially when it comes to showing cattle. I always want to be the one that wins every show and brings home every banner. Over spring break of 2017, I went out to a national show in Loveland, Colorado, with my favorite high main heifer, Mamie. We went out with modest expectations, hoping to place in the top end of our class, but before we knew it, we had won the high main breed and were named 3rd overall female in the show, completely blowing our expectations out of the water. We continued showing that heifer that spring, and her successes kept accumulating, to the point where I began to have the expectation of winning every show, every weekend. Instead of valuing all the times in the relationships with people that I had, I found myself too focused on trying to win every show, and the only thing I could think about was when that heifer needed to be at the ring, when she needed to be a show ring, and how we could keep her looking her best each and every week. I got so caught up in this idea of winning every show that I forgot the real reason I began showing cattle in the first place. For the relationships and the people in the industry. Instead of being present with the people around me, I found myself back in the barns trying to get ready for each show, rather than going out and catching up with my friends that I only get to see a handful of times each year at livestock shows. I found myself missing out on so many opportunities and experiences. Instead of being present, I was just back in the barns trying to get things done. Instead of going out and collecting memories with my friends each and every weekend showing cattle, I had just brought home a bunch of banners with not much more thought to them than what was written on the banners themselves. Many times in life we come across moments like these where we find we are not making the most of each experience. For me, I find myself looking back to all the relationships and memories I missed out on because I was too focused on trying to win every show with Mamie rather than being present with the people I was with. What are some areas in your life that you find yourself not making the most of every experience? Maybe when we're with our family and friends, we find ourselves getting too caught up on our phones rather than having real conversations with the people that we are with. Or perhaps when we're in class, we find ourselves simply going through the motions or zoning out rather than trying to focus on the material. We can find ourselves being present in every experience by saying thank you to those who help us, taking notes during our classes and conversations, and asking to help others where we seem fit. Once we begin being present in all of our experiences, We allow ourselves to develop deeper, stronger connections with our friends and loved ones, get more out of our classes and conversations, and become more aware as individuals. By being present in each and every moment, not only do we begin to make a positive impact on our own lives, but we begin to make a positive impact on the lives of those around us. After being forced to live in the moment by my fear of swimming with the sharks, we determined that we can recreate this incredible feeling of living the moment each and every day by learning from our mistakes and being present in our experiences. I know it is hard to think about anything else when mistakes are made on the baseball diamond, but once we accept this idea of a growth mindset, we allow ourselves to make a mistake, learn from it, and move on. In the show ring, it is easy to get caught up in the idea of chasing banners every weekend rather than valuing the time and the relationships with the people that we are with. But with our minds clear, we have the opportunity to live each and every day in the moment, being able to be present in every experience and being able to make a positive impact on the lives of those around us. As individuals, we have the opportunity to live life and let it fly right on past us without stopping to take it in. Instead, let's learn from our mistakes, be present in our experiences, and begin living in the moment.
I swear I live.
Riley, the past year as your teammate has been incredible. Your dedication, love for showing cattle, talent with the ox, and frat-tastic attitude meant this year never had any dull moments. Thanks for sharing this adventure with us, showing us to live in the moment and always being there for us. Love, Eli, Marie, John, Quentin, and Skylar. Kansas FFA, your 2017-2018 state reporter, Riley Slichter. Please join me in welcoming a few individuals who supported Riley throughout his life and throughout his FFA career, including over the past year as he's dedicated himself to our state association.
Mr. Smith and Mr. Burton, thank you for all the support you have shown me during my 4 years at Abilene High School, and for not getting too upset when I started missing more class than I was there for during my senior year for all the FFA events and livestock shows. Kansas FFA members and guests, I am pleased to present to you Abilene High School administration, Mr. Ben Smith and Mr. Will Burton. Ms. Jardine, thank you for stepping in and serving as an incredible role model and mentor for me during my last 2 years within your FFA program. I know you will never let me forget about the time that I dropped out of your horticulture class within the first week because I was mistakenly placed in it. But you didn't let that hold you back, and you always served as an incredible role model for me while I was in your classroom. I wish the best of luck to you and Michael with your future endeavors in San Antonio. Mrs. West, you turned into a second mother for me during my 5 years within your agricultural education classroom. I am extremely thankful for all the help from you and Ms. Jardine with all the FFA degrees and applications. I could not have done it without either of you, and for that, I am truly thankful. Kansas FFA members and guests, I am proud to present to you my advisors, Ms. Jardine and Mrs. West. Jackie, thank you for all the help you have given me, especially when it comes to working with the calves. I can already tell you're about 100 times better than I am at everything you do,
and I'm excited to see what happens as you start a new chapter in your life moving on to high school this year. Mom, Dad, I didn't realize it until my senior year of high school, but I lucked out with some truly incredible parents. Not only do you serve as an amazing mentor for myself and Jackie, but you give everything that you have, that way we can be successful in everything we do. And for that, I am truly grateful. Kansas FFA members and guests, I am proud to present to you my parents, Jeff and Meredith Slichter, as they receive their honorary state FFA degree.
Thank you for continually showing your support for Riley and the Kansas FFA. Let's give these individuals another round of applause. Some teachers challenge and push us in ways we didn't think possible. Mr. Kaufman taught me in areas I had little experience, woods and driver's ed. No matter how much I struggled in the woodshop or our school's student driver vehicle, he never lost patience with me. I know this was no easy feat, as he's taught for years, proven by the fact he also taught my dad. His years of service have shown that he is deeply dedicated to the next generation. That very statement could also describe the individuals who serve Kansas FFA as sponsors of the State Foundation. Madam Secretary, would you please read the names of this year's Kansas FFA Foundation sponsors?
This year, the Kansas FFA Foundation has 10 four-star corporate sponsors. Four-star sponsors contribute between $10,000 to $19,999 each year to our association. Our four-star sponsors are CHS Foundation, St. Paul, Minnesota. Harris Crop Insurance, Harris Show Lambs, Abilene. ICM Incorporate, Colwich. Kansas Corn Commission, Manhattan. Kansas Department of Agriculture, Manhattan. Kansas Farm Bureau, Manhattan. K-State College of Agriculture, Manhattan. Koch Ag and Energy Solutions, Wichita. Join me in giving all corporate sponsors another round of applause. This year, the Kansas FFA Foundation is privileged to have one 5-star corporate sponsor. To be a 5-star sponsor, a business organization must have contributed between $20,000 to $49,999 to the Kansas FFA Foundation. Our corporate 5 sponsor is Cargill Meat Solutions, Wichita. Thank you to all of our 5-star sponsors.
Please direct your attention to the screen as we highlight our corporate and individual sponsors at the 1, 2, and 3-star levels.
All the lonely people crying. It could change if we just get started. Lift the darkness, light a fire for the silent and the broken hearted. Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up, you girls and boys? Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up and use your voice? There's a comfort, there's a healing high above the pain and sorrow. Change is coming, can you feel it? Calling us into a new tomorrow. Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up, you girls and boys? Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up and use your voice? When the walls fall all around you, when your hope has turned to dust, let the sound of love surround you, beat like a heart in each of us. Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up, you girls and boys? Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up and use your honesty? Turn it up like we don't care, and we can live it up, and go anywhere and watch us shake it up, the vibes in the air, and live it up, we're gonna live it up. Jump in my automatic, feeling sporadic, already had it with the 9 to 5. It's tragic and problematic, system overload and blasting my stereo. The temperature is rising, so I drop the top to expose. My energy is out the box, man. I can't seem to stop when everything about my life is blessed and oh so evident. You can take away the lights, shut the cameras down, and I wouldn't even care, 'cause all my homies going out tonight. Turn it up like we don't care, and we can live it up, and go anywhere and watch us shake it up, the vibes in the air, and live it up,
what you got, yeah. Here we go, take you around the globe. You can be a top model, or stuck in a cubicle. From here to Tokyo, we gon' make it hot, hot. This feeling is non-stop, so show me what you got, got. Turn it up, like we don't care, and we can live it up, and go anywhere and watch us shake it up, the vibes in the air, live it up, we're gonna turn it up, like we don't care, and we can live it up, and go anywhere and watch us shake it up, the vibes in the air, live it up, we're gonna live it up.
None of the work we do as an association would be possible without the help of these generous sponsors. Let's thank them one more time.
Step up and leave a legacy.
For most, handiwork such as crafts are a hobby. However, to some, this handiwork is passed from generation to keep traditions alive. In FFA, we have many traditions that remind us of the leaders who've come before us and the importance of leaving a productive organization for those who will come after us. During a tradition I had the privilege of participating in, the International Leadership Seminar for State Officers in South Africa, we were able to experience a rich culture that's been kept vibrant through the years. We saw the respect their culture places on the wildlife in their country. From their currency to their artwork and jewelry, the big five animals were depicted in their everyday lives. Curating a scrapbook is a creative way for a chapter to pass down the accomplishments and events of the year for future students to look back on. These next chapters put together scrapbooks worthy of recognition. We can thank Kansas State University A.Q. Miller School of Journalism and Mass Communications for sponsoring these awards. Here to help present awards is Dr. Steve Smothers. Madam Secretary, please announce this year's award-winning chapters.
Those chapters placing in the bronze division of the scrapbook competition are the Ellis FFA chapter, the Clay Center FFA chapter, the Onega FFA chapter, the Fredonia FFA chapter, the Ellsworth FFA chapter, the Caney FFA chapter, the Bueller FFA chapter, and the Atchison FFA chapter. Let's give the bronze division a round of applause. Those chapters ranking in the silver division are the Stanton County FFA chapter, the Chaparral FFA chapter, the Solomon FFA chapter, the Blue Valley FFA chapter, the Cherryville FFA chapter, the Fairfield FFA chapter, the Inman FFA chapter, and the Wamego FFA chapter. Let's give the silver division a round of applause. And now in the top 5 chapters in ranking order in the gold division. In 5th place, the Center FFA chapter. Placing 4th, the Girard FFA chapter. In 3rd, the Chapman FFA chapter. In 2nd place, the Southeast of Saline FFA chapter. And this year's Scrapbook Award winner is the Logan FFA chapter. Congratulations again to the Logan FFA chapter and to all the state scrapbook competition participants.
During my college Intro to Agriculture education class, we took a field trip to 3 Ag Ed programs. One of the programs we visited was Clifton Clyde, where we had the opportunity to learn from and ask questions to Miss Hairsnape. She told us about something that really stood out to me. Like many teachers, she writes grants to afford classroom improvements. What made her stand out was that these grants would put new equipment in the metal shop, although she isn't responsible for teaching those classes. Like Ms. Hairsnape, throughout the year we've had chapters compete in the new chapter initiative with the opportunity to earn grants thanks to the generosity of our sponsor, Kansas Corn. The chapter initiative focuses on balancing the 3-circle model of Ag Ed. Chapters completed challenges that pushed them to highlight each circle: FFA, SAE, and classroom. Challenges included writing news articles about the curriculum studied in their classrooms, SAE presentations, and collecting pop tabs for our state service project. Here to help us present these awards is Mr. Greg Krisick. Madam Secretary, please read those chapters earning grants from the chapter initiative.
This year, we will recognize the top 3 ranking chapters in the program. Placing 3rd is the Marysville FFA chapter. In 2nd place, the Blue Valley FFA chapter. And placing 1st in the Chapter Initiative program is the Ellsworth FFA chapter. Congratulations again to these chapters. Let's give them another round of applause for their efforts as they exit the stage.
In the middle of the night, out here with the stars like the creatures of the night. If you gon' dance, make sure you got the red up. Make sure that you...
Everyone remembers their first jobs and the many lessons learned there. My first job was at Hoxie Veterinary Service. I had a very wise boss, Dr. Mark Olson, who was always willing to encourage his employees. The biggest lesson I learned from him was that if something is worth doing, it's worth doing right. It taught me that attention to detail is an important and marketable skill. These next members know quite a bit about their own marketable skills. They have competed in the Employment Skills Leadership Development event this week. Formerly known as Job Interview, members crafted cover letters, resumes, and engaged in interviews. Our sponsor for the Employment Skills LDE is Mid-Kansas Cooperatives, represented today by Hillary Wooster. Let's welcome our finalists to the stage.
The results of the Employment Skills Leadership Development event are: placing 6th, Tierney Kester from the Stockton FFA chapter. In 5th, Jordan Vandervoort from the Washburn Rural FFA chapter. In 4th place, Carlene Sanders from the Minneapolis FFA chapter. Placing 3rd, Alexa McCurdy from the West Franklin FFA chapter. Earning second place is Rachel Bebb from the Labette County FFA chapter. And your 2018 champion in the Employment Skills LDE is Peyton Horn from the Chapman FFA chapter. Please congratulate these FFA members as they leave the stage.
Nobody learns without getting it wrong. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end, and then I'll start again.
In middle school, I had a counselor named Miss Yoakum. She helped me get involved in a club that focused on making school a more inclusive place. As I spent more time in this club, I spent more time with Miss Yoakum. Having her as a mentor was rewarding. I wasn't just introduced to the world of harmonica music, I was introduced to the possibility of becoming a leader. The chapters awarded next have put in many hours over the past year to create an environment and opportunities for their members to grow and develop into contributing leaders in their communities. We are about to recognize the chapters who have excelled in the National Chapter Award area of Growing Leaders. Sponsoring these awards is the Reinhardt Family Foundation. Madam Secretary, please read the names of the chapters being recognized for their excellence in the Growing Leaders area of the National Chapter Award.
The chapters excelling in the area of growing leaders in the Bronze Division are the Blue Valley FFA chapter, the Central FFA chapter, the Cherryville FFA chapter, the Elk Valley FFA chapter, the Neodesha FFA chapter, let's give all of the chapters in the Bronze Division a round of applause. In the Silver Division, the Altoona Midway FFA chapter, the Beloit FFA chapter, the Bueller FFA chapter, the Burlington FFA chapter, the Chaparral FFA chapter, the Fort Scott FFA chapter, the Hiawatha FFA chapter, the Jackson Heights FFA chapter, the Marion FFA chapter, the Marmonton Valley FFA chapter, the McLouth FFA chapter, The Onega FFA chapter. The Russell FFA chapter. The Sabetha FFA chapter. The Solomon FFA chapter. The Spring Hill FFA chapter. The Stanton County FFA chapter. The Tonganoxie FFA chapter. Let's give those chapters in the Silver Division another round of applause. Please direct your attention to the screen as we showcase the chapters ranking in the Gold Division. Earning 20th place in the Gold Division is the Girard FFA chapter. In 19th place, the Fairfield FFA chapter. Taking 18th place, the Southwestern Heights FFA chapter. In 17th, the Hugoton FFA chapter. In 16th place, the Ness City FFA chapter. Earning 15th place, the Royal Valley FFA chapter. In 14th, the Republic County FFA chapter. In 13th place, the Southeast of Saline FFA chapter. Receiving 12th place, the Caney FFA chapter. In 11th place, the Southern Lyon County FFA chapter. In 10th place, the Marysville FFA chapter. In 9th place, the Inman FFA chapter. In 8th, the Riverton FFA chapter. Earning 7th place, the Mission Valley FFA chapter. In 6th, the Hayes FFA chapter. In 5th, the Clay Center FFA chapter. In 4th, the Udall FFA chapter. Placing 3rd, the Holton FFA chapter. In 2nd place, the Ellsworth FFA chapter. And your 2018 winner of National Chapter Award in the area of growing leaders is the Chapman FFA chapter. Congratulations to all of our winners. Please direct your attention to the screen as we highlight the winning chapter in the area of growing leaders.
The winner of this year's National Chapter Award in the area of building communities is the Southwestern Heights FFA chapter. To develop environmentally responsible citizens, FFA members created the Clean Water Academy. More than 450 kindergarten and first graders attended a hands-on workshop about how the public can prevent watershed pollution. Southwestern Heights FFA members also noticed that homeless people in their community struggled with disease because of bedbug and lice-infested bedding, so they coordinated the Chain of Love, a project to create insect and water-repellent bedding made from plastic grocery sacks. Members collected more than 2,500 grocery sacks and crocheted 4 bed mats that covered more than 72 square feet. Southwestern Heights FFA chapter partnered with the local Farm Bureau and Dillon's grocery store to educate the public on the role of production agriculture in securing a safe and affordable food supply. Members distributed free loaves of bread to more than 250 patrons at Dillon's during their event. Southwestern Heights has 27 members and the advisor is Carmelita Gosen. Congratulations to the Southwestern Heights FFA chapter, the winner of the Building Communities National Chapter Award.
Our organization takes pride in building the students who will be tomorrow's leaders and innovators in the industry of agriculture. These chapters have excelled over the past year in providing their members the skills it takes to stand for what you believe in and be an example to all those you encounter. They should be proud of their efforts and of the members who have helped to make those efforts possible. Congratulations to these chapters competing in the National Chapter Award. Let's give them another round of applause. Many teachers tell us during high school that in 10 years we won't remember who was crowned homecoming or prom king and queen. What you'll likely remember was which of your peers applied themselves and always put their best foot forward. Kansas FFA is proud to have members who are such great students. Each year, select seniors across the United States are named as presidential scholars for their academic merit, one of the highest honors for U.S. students. To be eligible, students must be nominated by their chief state school officer. Each year, the chief state school officer is allowed to nominate up to 5 students to become candidates for the Presidential Scholars of Career and Technical Education program. We are also announcing Kansas CTE Scholars. To be recognized as a Kansas CTE Scholar, you must demonstrate leadership, community engagement, excellent scholastic record, technical skills, and provide a career vision. Kansas FFA is proud to have our advisor, Mr. Kurt Dillon, to present these awards. Madam Secretary, please announce these members.
I am pleased to read the following names as the national semifinalists for Presidential CTE Scholars. Jessica Brines from the Girard FFA chapter. Skylar Zinger from the Washington County FFA chapter. And now, our Kansas CTE Scholars. Lucas Goodenkoff from the Marysville FFA chapter. Ashton Brunk from the Inman FFA chapter. Max Harmon from the Inman FFA chapter. Gabe Nechtel from the Inman FFA chapter. Katie Crable from the Inman FFA chapter. Allie Leslie from the Inman FFA chapter. Colin Weedle from the Inman FFA chapter. Kaylee Weedle from the Inman FFA chapter. Join me in congratulating these scholars.
The next individual has spent years dedicating himself to education in Kansas. A native of Coffeyville, Kansas, Dr. Randy Watson attended Kansas State University, where he earned a bachelor's degree in history and a master's degree in science and secondary administration, building level certification, staff supervision, and staff development. Additionally, he received his doctorate of education in secondary administration, school law, curriculum development, and instructional leadership, and district level certification. Dr. Watson began his education career in 1981 as a high school social studies teacher in Tuscaloosa, Kansas. He has served as a high school principal and provided classroom instruction at the university level. Throughout his career, Dr. Watson has been sought out by schools, districts, education organizations, and others for his education insights, as well as his clear thinking around the issues and challenges facing policymakers, educators, and students. The recipient of many awards, Dr. Watson was named an Alumni Fellow at Kansas State University, and in 2015 was honored by being named the Kansas Superintendent of the Year. Dr. Randy Watson has served the Kansas State Board of Education as Commissioner of Education since July of 2015. As the state's Chief Education Officer, he provides leadership to the Kansas State Department of Education in carrying out the policies and programs prescribed by the State Board of Education to ensure the necessary oversight and support is provided to assist Kansas schools, educators, and students in achieving their goals. Please welcome Dr. Watson to the stage.
How you doing? I was like, wonderful, wonderful. I have a good friend, Dale Dennis, works with the department with me, and Dale has a favorite saying that I think is appropriate for all of us today. I think I'm as nervous as a frog on a freeway. So I think that's right where I am right now. But I want to thank you for the opportunity. When Kurt Dillon said, would you be willing to speak, he said, we just have a few of our friends with us today. You know, about 1,700, right? You guys look great. You guys look great. So I'm going to need some interaction with you this afternoon as we go through this, because it wouldn't be right for us to spend some time after Memorial Day and not actually put you in a school environment. So I happen to know that the person to your left or the person to your right are some of the brightest people we have in the entire state. Well, that must have only been the person to your left that you're laughing about. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to choose someone to your left or right. You can only choose one person. You're going to partner up with two. You're going to get just a little bit of time, like 1 minute. And here's your quiz. So I hope you came in and sat with the smartest person in the audience today. So excited. I need you to tell me how many State Board of Education members you can name. You have 1 minute. Go. Oh, it's going to be good. Oh, we've got some good things going on. No, you cannot phone a friend. I'm thinking the people on the balcony may have it. You've got 20 seconds. 20 seconds. How are you doing? Are you getting all these right? What? Help her. Help her. Help her. Some of you need help. You've got 5 seconds. All right, here we go. So, how many of you think that you got all state board members correct? Yeah, because you know we get some of you are trying to Google it as we talk right there, because it is a Googleable thing. I'm going to talk about that. There are actually 10 state board members. You can take a look right up here. Get to see them. They are by district. They are elected people. And most of you have no idea who they are. I bring this up for two reasons, two important reasons. One, something called civic engagement that you are all about in FFA. These people control the graduation requirements in high school. They control the reading standards in elementary school. They control the funding with the legislature. They control the allocation of funding that goes on in pre-K through 12 education. And most people have no idea who these 10 people are. I think it speaks to one of the things that we have to get at as we think about a new education system, which is how do we promote civic engagement and how do we do a better job of helping the success of each student? Because that's really what we're after. We're after trying to help every student be successful. And so we have a new vision for Kansas. It's pretty simple. Break it down into two parts. It's pretty simple. We're going to lead the world. I mean, if you're going to have a vision statement, you might as well go big, right? It doesn't do any good to say things like, Kansas will beat Oklahoma or Missouri, because it's so easy to do that we don't want to do that. Okay, so we're going to lead the world, and the key to this is the success of each of every one of you. The success of each and every one of you. Now, I want to ask you this. How many of you, adults also, have ever taken a class in high school, and if you're in college, you can include college, in high school or college, that you thought was worthless? Raise your hand. Okay, let the record show that at least the majority of you are raising your hand. Okay? Now I'm going to ask the second question. How many of you in the class that you thought was worthless in high school and or college still got a good grade in it? Raise your hand. Good grade be an A or a B. All right? Okay, some of you wanted to raise your hand because you just passed the class, I know, but we're trying to get an A or B. So I wonder what it is about all of us that allow us to do our best into something that we think is not very worthwhile. And what keeps me awake at night is, how do we get to this success of each student? How do we make that happen? And what I know as I sit here today with you is that we have to turn school into something that it currently isn't. So Riley's speech was so inspiring to me, his presentation, because he talked about so many things. And I wondered as he gave that great presentation is how much speech credit we were giving him in high school to give that speech. Or how we tend to look at things like FFA or Skills USA or FBLA or any of our student organizations, you know this, as extra. Riley mentioned thanking his teachers for sometimes when he had to miss other classes because of doing projects in FFA. So how many of you have ever been involved in 4-H? Pretty meaningful. How about Girl Scouts? How many are involved in Girl Scouts? Yeah. Some of you guys, that's where you've been hanging out looking for prom dates. Okay, I know. I get it. How many of you have been involved in Boy Scouts? And do we have any Eagle Scouts with us? A lot of hands went down then. Great. Congratulations. Do you know, about 6 years ago, Forbes did a survey of the Fortune 500 companies, the largest companies in America. And they listed about 250, 260 things, items that you could place on a resume. Said, what of these things are most important? And business leaders came back and said, if we could only have one thing on a resume that meant something to us, it would be, I am an Eagle Scout. It's really important. But yet, if you're an Eagle Scout or you've worked through the badge system, you've been a grand champion in 4-H, maybe you've been involved in junior achievement, how much credit do we give for that in social studies class in high school? None. And so, as I had the opportunity to meet with your officers earlier in the year, we talked about all the skill sets that get taught in FFA. And all the awards of the people that have been coming before us today, you're talking about a set of skill sets that employers want. They're begging for that. And it takes time to develop it. And yet we call that extracurricular. In fact, you know this. Do you know that let's just take a production ag class. Production ag class. In any high school in this state. So from Abilene, St. Francis, maybe down to Girard, over to Liberal, or up to Riverside. If you just think of any place in our state, a production ag class, what happens to a student that as a freshman who loves ag, fails English, and then as a sophomore, fails English again? They don't get to take ag. Because how many English classes do they now have to take? 3. Because we said that was more important than being an ag. Let me ask you this. How many of you, for you, ag and the ag-related classes and FFA are some of the most important things for you personally in school? It's not an elective. It's not an add-on. It's fundamental to where we want to be. It's how you learn. Look at all these things we're doing over the next 3-4 days together. It's why the Secretary of Ag was here to welcome you last night. It's why the governor was here Because these skills are what everyone needs, and yet we call these electives in school. And they're not. And so we're going to try to change that over the next several years. And as we do that, I want you to be thinking that most of you are going to need 2 pieces of paper as you go forward in life. This is the chart that tells you what the job opportunities are in Kansas today. And 70 to 75% of those jobs require you to A, graduate high school, and B, have a second piece of paper. That's what we call it. It means a degree, a certificate, or some other form of education, constantly learning. But look at this. Half of that job market does not require you to go to 4 years of college or 6 years of college or 8 years of college. It requires a welding certificate or a plumbing certificate, or maybe it's an associate degree at lineman school at Pratt Community College, where you can go to work for Westar here in our state, and within just a few months, a few years, you can be making almost 6 figures. That everyone's passion and where everyone wants to go is valued, including those that choose to go in the military, and maybe an apprentice, or maybe you're even going to take over your family business and you need some skills to do that. It's very important that these skill sets are there as we go forward, and that you think about 2 pieces of paper. And what scares me is some of your friends in high school are not going to graduate from high school. 13% of Kansas students never walk across a stage like this. And those students, on average, have less than a 10% average chance at any time in their lifetime they're going to have a career that leads them into the middle class. So 2 pieces of paper are extremely important. Now I want to talk to you about the changing work environment. I want to show you a short little clip about the future of work. See all the things you can notice about Kansas. First of all, you already know where this is. Gardner-Edgerton Amazon Distribution Center. Notice you went on your phone, you placed an order, and there it went. How about Caterpillar? Notice it's driving itself. How about farming? You know anything about that? Kansas Skies. How about ranching, dairy? All these jobs are changing rapidly. How about engineering or architecture? Interesting enough, this robot, 3D printer, did this in less than a day. Or masons. So this little guy's pretty quick. Now that's not a bad. Or truck driving, coming out of Denver, Colorado, headed toward western Kansas. Oop, forgot to put someone in the seat. Automated driving. Or Amazon, where you go in, you scan, no employees. You walk out, it automatically deducts it from your account. How's that change 7-Eleven? Or McDonald's. My first job at Sonic Drive-In. What if we automate that out? Automation rapidly is changing jobs, as you can see. It's changing all kinds of jobs. So it requires us to constantly learn all the time. McDonald's stock actually went up after they introduced this type of system. How about doctors, physicians, surgeons? I was at KU Med Center, one of the best med centers in the nation. And they were talking about how robots are changing the way that they work and how much better precision and how less time is happening for patients in the hospital because of errors. So it's affecting every part of our life. And so you have to be thinking about, how do I end up with 2 pieces of paper, and how do I continually learn as things are going on? I mean, take a look at this. 3 years later, we went from all horses to no horses. a very gentlemanly robot holding the door open. So that's what we can imagine that school could look like, is let's make it so that maybe you could come to school and spend most of your day in an activity that looked like an FFA activity, or you're running the store and taking loans at your school. And yes, you're going to have to do some skill work. Riley talked about his experience in middle school in baseball. And I think that's a great analogy, because when you're a little kid, almost every little kid plays t-ball, plays a little league. You know, you start playing that. And if you're no good, like me, where do they put you? Right field, right field. And you're excited, right? I'm on the championship team. I'm in right field. And you don't realize the reason you're in right field, no one hits you the ball, Riley. So see, I didn't have to worry about that like you, because no one hits you the ball in right field. And you soon know that I love this thing called baseball, and I love playing the game, right? Putting all the skills together. But in a 9-inning game or a 6-inning game for little kids, you may only get to bat 2 or 3 times. If you're in right field, like I was, you never get the ball even hit to you, so you don't get much practice on flies or grounders. So you have to practice the skill. And so we'll have to still practice skill, but what we're changing school is from being age and time and academic based to being more real world based. We have 47 school districts currently in our redesign project, 110 schools. We will launch this in the fall, and we will start changing school starting this fall. Here's what I need you to do, though. I want you to go back and encourage all of our schools and our teachers, embrace this change. I was recently came to a school where I found a student and his passion. And it looked like this. This is a little thing we call individual plan of study. I want you to think about this, though. I'm not going to ask you what you want to be when you grow up, because it may change. What I'd like to know is, what do you love and what are you good at? Now, your parents want to know, can you get paid for it? That's always a good thing. They don't want you living in their basement the rest of your life. And maybe the world needs it. But I want to know, what do you love and what are you good at? And I was at a school where a young man I walked into an ag class, and the ag teacher was bragging on the young man. He actually had purchased 10 head of cattle from his dad. He was managing that, and there was a major storm that had come through that week. And the cattle, unfortunately, got distributed and got out and about. And he had to go round them up. He was up all night. He didn't sleep at all. And he came to school about 30 minutes late to first hour. You guys all know first hour, right? And guess what? First hour was not his ag class. It was his English class. And I'm going to tell you the story because I think it talks about how we all, myself included, have to change. He went to his class about 30 minutes late, and the English teacher said, I don't know when you're ever going to be responsible enough to show up on time. He hadn't been to sleep. It's a wonder he showed up at all, but I want you to know, I can't wait to hire that young man. His priorities are right. He took care of the cattle that he needed to take care of. He still cared enough to come to school and give his best effort on a class that he didn't care anything about so that he could get a good grade. That is what we're going to try to change for all of you here today. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here with you. I want to say congratulations, and I want to know, why the heck did not any of you ask me to be on your dodgeball team? What's up with that? All right, you're having a blast in the next few days. Thank you for being such leaders in your school and in your state, and we look forward to you really changing the world as you go out in it over the next several years. Thank you so much, everyone.
Dr. Watson, thank you for dedicating your career to the future of the United States. Your work for Kansas education will truly revolutionize a system that will help equip future students. Please accept this gift as a token of Kansas FFA's appreciation.
Thank you. Thank you. Did a great job. Was I on time? Okay. Thanks for having me.
Throughout our lives, we've been taught many life lessons from our family. One lesson most of us learn at a young age is sharing. The same goes for me. You see, I'd been riding around in my pink Barbie Jeep. My older sister wanted to have a turn in driving the Jeep, but I was being greedy because it was mine and it was my favorite thing to cruise around in. Thankfully, the sponsors of our scholarships have learned the lesson of sharing and generosity. Our next members have shared information and stories about the knowledge and skills they've gained throughout their lives. They are about to be awarded to help them move forward with their education and can rest assured that this moment is solely theirs. We wish nothing but the best for these individuals wherever the future may take them. Madam Secretary, please read the list of our scholarship recipients.
The Kansas FFA alumni provides numerous scholarships to help students attend the Washington Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C. Here representing the Kansas FFA alumni is Mr. Matt Baxter. This year's WLC scholarship recipients are Riley Olson from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, Elizabeth Wright from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, Peyton Horn from the Chapman FFA chapter, Creed Curran from the Girard FFA chapter, Caitlin Hallisey from the Girard FFA chapter, Cassie Meyer from the Marion Florence FFA chapter, Alyssa Heem from the Marmonton Valley FFA chapter, Carly Stevens from the Marmonton Valley FFA chapter, Shelby Tanner from the Norton FFA chapter, Amber Cherney from the Republic County FFA chapter, Johnny Dale from the Republic County FFA chapter, Anna Pachta from the Republic County FFA chapter, Luke Gobby from the Washington County FFA chapter, Lauren Simmons from the Washington County FFA chapter, please join me in giving these Kansas FFA Alumni Scholarship recipients a round of applause. Our next scholarship award area is sponsored by the Caston family. The winner of this scholarship will receive funds to attend the Washington Leadership Conference. The winner of this scholarship is Kaylin Creaky from the Meridazine Valley FFA chapter. Please join me in congratulating Kaylin. Our next scholarship award area is sponsored by the Laning family. The winners of the scholarship provided funds to attend Washington Leadership Conference. The winners of the scholarship are Rebecca Bogner from the Labette County FFA chapter, Riley Sorrell from the Labette County FFA chapter, Grace Bradley from the Meridazine Valley FFA chapter. Bailey Lacey from the Meridazine Valley FFA chapter. Please help me in congratulating these scholarship recipients. Our next scholarship award area is sponsored by Rick and Bonnie Mailer. The winners of the scholarship are provided funds to attend Washington Leadership Conference. The winners of the scholarships are Reagan Dalek from the Chapman FFA chapter, Taylor Brines from the Girard FFA chapter, Kara Detar from the Labette County FFA chapter. Help me congratulating these scholarship winners. Our next scholarship award area is sponsored by the Socope family. The winner of the scholarship is provided funds to attend the Washington Leadership Conference. The winner is J.W. Wells from the Sedan FFA chapter. Please join me in congratulating J.W. Our next scholarship award area is sponsored by the Midwest Ford dealers. The winners of the scholarships are provided funds to attend Washington Leadership Conference. The winners of this year's Midwest Ford WLC scholarships are Emily Sweet from the Clay Center FFA chapter, Lane Fisher from the Ellis FFA chapter, Maggie Billman from the Labette County FFA chapter, Bronte Wiesner from the Labette County FFA chapter. Please help me congratulate the Midwest Ford WLC scholarship recipients. The Orscheln Farm and Home Stores of Kansas are also helping RFA members with their education. Orscheln's is sponsoring 8 scholarships for graduating seniors based on scholastic achievement, FA activities, and SAE development. The winners of the Orscheln Farm and Home Stores of Kansas Scholarship are Brittany Elbersole from the Abilene FFA chapter, Lucas Sebesta from the Ellsworth FFA chapter, Ivy Gatton from the Labette County FFA chapter, Tara Huck from the Labette County FFA chapter, Natalie Papa from the McLeod FFA chapter, Tatum Brunkow from the Rock Creek FFA chapter, Blake Chance from the Royal Valley FFA chapter, Skylar Zinger from the Washington County FFA chapter. Please join me congratulating the Orscheln's Farm and Home Stores of Kansas scholarship recipients. Ford Truck is proud to award the Ford Truck Build Tough Ford Scholarship to Kansas FFA members. The recipients of the Ford Truck Build Ford Tough FFA scholarships are Elise Jones from the Abilene FFA chapter, Tessa Urok from the Anderson County FFA chapter, Shiley Shuckle from the Anderson County FFA chapter, Lindsay Nolan from the Arkansas City FFA chapter, Coy Hayes from the Atwood FFA chapter, Jacob Milburn from the Bueller FFA chapter, Lawson Schultz from the Bueller FFA chapter, Cody Collins from the Burlington FFA chapter, Tyler Roberts from the Central Heights FFA chapter, Josh Hassenkamp from the Centralia FFA chapter, Max Savoda from the Centra FFA chapter, Lindsay Anderson from the Chapman FFA chapter, Jamie Rock from the Chapman FFA chapter, Sam Reno from the Cheney FFA chapter. Colvin Dodson from the Cherryville FFA chapter. Natalie Morris from the Cherryville FFA chapter. Rachel Keltz from the Cheyenne FFA chapter. Garrett Craig from the Clay Center FFA chapter. Dylan Helwig from the Columbus FFA chapter. Bryce Lane from the El Salina FFA chapter. Katie Malone from the Erie FFA chapter. Caleb Guilfoyle from the Fort Scott FFA chapter. Jessica Brines from the Girard FFA chapter. Blaine Setterstorm from the Goodland FFA chapter. Connor Pierce from the Haven FFA chapter. Sydney Shee from the Haven FFA chapter. Emma Mangles from the Holcomb FFA chapter. Mason Chaney from the Holton FFA chapter. Alyssa Leslie from the Inman FFA chapter. Elizabeth Wood from the Inman FFA chapter. Isaiah Wyckoff from the Iola FFA chapter. Judd Nelson from the Jackson Heights FFA chapter. Cheyenne Jones from the Labette County FFA chapter. Kendall Norris from the Manhattan FFA chapter. Callie Holt from the Meridazine Valley FFA chapter. Emily Smart from the Marmonton Valley FFA chapter. Michaela Forrest from the Marysville FFA chapter. Emma Jolly from the McLeod FFA chapter. Courtney Walker from the Minneapolis FFA chapter. Travis Lutz from the Ottawa FFA chapter. Devin Elliott from the Paola FFA chapter. Amanda Baxa from the Republic County FFA chapter. Emily Hedrick from the Southwestern Heights FFA chapter. Matheson Wizzle from the St. Francis FFA chapter. Rebecca Martin from the Tonganoxie FFA chapter. Abby Lowe from the Wellington FFA chapter. Serenity Radford from the Wichita Southeast FFA chapter. Please congratulate these winners of the Ford Trucks Build Ford Tough FFA scholarships. John Deere provides scholarships to Kansas FFA members through the John Deere Dealer Scholarship Program. For this scholarship, applicants must attend chapters identified by local John Deere dealers. The recipients of the John Deere Dealer Scholarship Program scholarship are Corbin Gather from the Flint Hills FFA chapter, Daniel Kopp from the Hiawatha FFA chapter, Katie Crable from the Inman FFA chapter, William Holman from the Marmonton Valley FFA chapter, Michael Elliott from the Riverton FFA chapter, Please help me congratulate the recipients of the John Deere Dealer Scholarships. Finally, the National FFA Foundation is continuing to reward academic excellence and encourage post-secondary education through their scholarship program. With total nationwide scholarship dollars totaling more than $2.7 million, this year 115 Kansas FFA members received a total of $1,525,500 in scholarships from the National FFA Foundation. The recipients will receive scholarships ranging from $1,000 to $5,000 for education at a 2- or 4-year institution. Winners of National FFA Foundation scholarships are Raceline Kuntz from the Abilene FFA chapter, Katie Lieberger from the Anderson County FFA chapter, Natalie Hawkins from the Atwood FFA chapter, Caden Emmett from the Beloit FFA chapter, Michael Wright from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, John DeWeese from the Buckland FFA chapter, Brenton Cook from the Bueller FFA chapter, Chad Hibden from the Central Heights FFA chapter, Rebecca Johnson from the Chapman FFA chapter, Sam Reno from the Cheney FFA chapter, Kinsey Cott from the Clay Center FFA chapter, Courtney Sherbert from the Clay Center FFA chapter, Spencer Kane from the El Saline FFA chapter, Jade Edwards from the Eureka FFA chapter, Emily Meyer from the Gossel FFA chapter, Madeline Meyer from the Gossel FFA chapter, Emma Williams from the Hiawatha FFA chapter, Ted Swolney from the Hiawatha FFA chapter, Ashton Brunk from the Inman FFA chapter, Max Harmon from the Inman FFA chapter, Nathan Buss from the Jefferson West FFA chapter, Abby Goins from the Labette County FFA chapter, Mariah Payne from the Labette County FFA chapter, Nicholas Schmidt from the Lakeside FFA chapter, Brandon Karp from the Mays FFA chapter, Neely Bowden from the Manhattan FFA chapter, Kayla Glore from the Marysville FFA chapter, Mateo Lisk from the Mission Valley FFA chapter, Tanner Duncan from the Paola FFA chapter, Devin Gaines from the Peabody Burns FFA chapter, Ben Jensen from the Pike Valley FFA chapter, Noah Hansen from the Plainville FFA chapter, Wyatt Bayer from the Sabetha FFA chapter, Carlene Sanders from the Minneapolis FFA chapter, Michael Dowd from the Spring Hill FFA chapter, Emily Dinkle from the St. Francis FFA chapter, Alan Hines from the Tonganoxie FFA chapter, Ryan Stanley from the Twin Valley FFA chapter, Jordan Vandervoort from the Washburn Rural FFA Chapter. Levi Gobby from the Washington County FFA Chapter. Please congratulate the winners of the National FFA Foundation Scholarships. Let's congratulate all 2018 scholarship winners.
Best of luck to all of our scholarship winners wherever the next path takes them. My safari experience is one I will certainly enjoy my entire life. I learned termites do not taste like bacon, no matter how much everyone tried to convince me, and not to trust everything your safari guide says. For example, if he's on the radio for 10 minutes, proceeds to stop the Jeep, and asks you to get out to see 3 male antelopes fighting, it might be best to be a little bit skeptical. I might not get the highest grade in biology, but Mr. Weiner taught me the difference between an antelope and a cheetah. I hope one of the next individuals has as much fun off-roading as I did. Thanks to John Deere Ag, Turf and Landscape, we are once again giving away a Gator to one lucky member. The Gator drawing is supported by the following dealerships: Buckland Tractor Incorporated, Carrico Tractor Incorporated, Concordia Tractor Incorporated, Heritage Tractor, Hiawatha Implement, Landmark Implement, O'Malley Implement, and Prairie Land Partners. Students who complete the State FFA degree, Agri-Science Fair, American degree, and Proficiency applications are entered in the Gator giveaway drawing. As an added bonus, if they are a state winner, their names are added twice. It's time to choose our finalist. I will now draw the names of the members who are the 10 finalists for the Gator. The first finalist is Chris Chandler from Holcomb. Our second finalist is Ashton Brunk from Inman. Our third finalist is Brandon Gray from Jayhawk Lynn. Our fourth finalist is Courtney Van Donge from Holton. Our fifth finalist is Joseph Bronte from La Crosse. Our sixth finalist is Morgan Reagan from the Ottawa FFA chapter. Our seventh finalist is Brianna Schroeder from Beloit. Our eighth finalist is Michael Peterson from Holcomb. Our ninth finalist is Kate Schoenberg from Spring Hill. And our 10th and final John Deere Gator finalist is Kyra Pointer from the Jayhawk Lynn FFA chapter. Congratulations to all our Gator finalists. Finalists must be present for the sixth session to be eligible for the final Gator drawing. Finalists should check in backstage before the end of the state degree presentation in the sixth session. This third session of the 90th Kansas FFA Convention has certainly been engaging as we learned from speakers, awarded outstanding individuals, and exhibited gratitude towards our sponsors. Thanks for raising your hand to join us for these celebrations. Individually, I can gain the knowledge to reach new heights, but collectively, we will give each other the necessary boost to get there. Remember, the bell doesn't dismiss us, so I'll now call on Eli to do so as he assumes the duties of the chair.
Madam Secretary, do you have record of any further business which should now be transacted?
Yes, I do, Mr. President. Please join us at 5:30 for the debut of the State FFA Band and Chorus. We encourage everyone to attend. Please note that the auditorium will be cleared between the band and chorus concert and the fourth session this evening. All concert attendees will be required to leave the auditorium following the concert and re-enter prior to the fourth session. The fourth session of the 90th Kansas FFA Convention will start at 7 p.m. During the session, we will hear the retiring address of your State Vice President, John Kennedy, award honorary state degrees, recognize some of our LDE winners, announce our final area of the National Chapter Award, and listen to our keynote speaker, Rhett Laubick. Also, the dodgeball event after the fourth session of the night will not begin until after the session is over. Please be in attendance for the entirety of this session.
Thank you. Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this session? We are about to adjourn this, the third session of the 90th Kansas FFA Convention. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now declare this third session of the 90th Kansas FFA Convention adjourned.